Being able to transcribe is a really important skill to develop if you want to be able to work out your own bass lines from songs. It can be really frustrating searching for hours online for particular bass lines only to get them to find that they're inaccurate and wrong. So in this video I'm going to give you an overview of how to start transcribing, and I'm going to give you 5 tips that I've learned over years of transcribing myself. Once you've watched this lesson, then you can download a PDF I've made up, and I've got 5 bass lines on there that go from easy to hard. So the idea behind this is that you go away and transcribe the section I give you from each song, and then you compare it to the transcription I've written down on the PDF and see how you got on. So that PDF is below this video in the description, just click the link there. And also remember to subscribe to my channel Greg's Bass Shed here on YouTube and click the notification bell. When transcribing, it doesn't really matter if you can't read or write music. So I find that when I'm transcribing that I actually remember it really well because you're going through the process of working out all the notes. But you can, if you want, just jot the note names down on a piece of paper. You don't have to actually notate them on a stave. The first transcribing tip I'm going to give you, and probably the most important one, is that you listen to the bass line you're transcribing on some decent speakers. If you listen to them on your, say, your iPhone or laptop or iPad, then these small speakers, the bass just gets lost on them. So you need to listen to it through a decent stereo or some headphones or in-ears, and then you'll be able to pick out the bass line properly. This will make a huge difference to how easy or hard it is to transcribe the bass line. The second transcribing tip I'm going to give you is to listen through the song 4 or 5 times before you start transcribing it. Now, a lot of students come to me and say that you just can't hear the bass line. So when you're listening, really try to zone in on the bass and find out where it is. So just try to kind of not get distracted by the lyrics or the tune and try and zone in on the bass. And this does take a bit of practice. Some students come to me and say they just can't hear the bass, but in some situations the bass might get buried in the mix, so go for easy songs where you can hear the bass line really clearly first of all to practice transcribing. Also, listening to the song before you start transcribing will give you a more global idea of the bass line. You can work out where there are repeated sections, if there are some riffs that are repeated over and over again, and this will help you transcribe. The third transcribing tip I'm going to give you is that once you've listened to the song a few times, then pick out a small section that you're going to start working on. And to illustrate this, we're going to use Santana's Black Magic Woman. So have a listen to the album version now. Now, because of copyright, I don't really want to play it in this video, so I'll put a link below so you can check that out. We're going to use the section where the vocals come in for verse 1, and that's about 1 minute 25 into the track. So now I'm going to play you my version, my backing track of that section, and have a listen and see if you can zone in on the bass. So you can probably hear that there's a riff here that's repeated round and round again. So my next tip is what you need to do is to sing this riff. And it doesn't matter if you've got a really crap voice or, just try and sing it because it will help you to kind of establish where these notes are. So the first note, do. So that's a D. So just sort of float around your bass until you find that first note. So you know that's a D there. And then we can hear some more notes. You can probably hear D, 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 D. Do, 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 do. So work out those notes next. So we've got our first note, and then we've got B, 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 and they're just joined with one note. So we've just got to find where that next note is. Well, I know where it is, but you could do, 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 do. You could just fill the gaps, and you can hear it's actually an A. So that's that riff repeating round and round. It's difficult for me to demonstrate because I actually know the riff, but that's the process you'll go through. Just keep playing notes on your bass until you can actually find it. And if you're singing along, then that really helps make a connection. So by that process, we have worked out that first riff. And you probably can hear that it changes to another chord. So let's have another listen now to that backing track. already worked out when I listened to it that this riff moves round to different chords. So my fifth tip is to try to work out the chord structure of the song. This really helps you work out the bass line. So in this case we can just pick the root note. So we've got and then it changes. So I know it's A, but you'd find that note. And then back to D. And it changes again. And that's a G. So we know that it just uses three chords. So we've got D, chord 1, chord 4, G, chord 5, A. So you could just write the chord sequence down. You could say you put D for 2 bars, A for 2 bars, D for 2 bars, G for 2 bars, D, A, D, D. And you've got your framework there. And then it's just a matter of slotting that riff that you learnt first of all into the framework. D, A, D, D, G, G, D, A, D, D. So now that you've worked out the verse, you just need to go to the different sections and see what's happening there. Now this may seem like a long, laborious process, but the more you do it, the quicker it gets. So what I suggest you do now is download the PDF from below, and I've put instructions on there to transcribe short sections of 5 songs. So you work out the transcriptions yourself and just jot them down or just remember them and then cross-reference them with the PDF. Reading and writing music, although not strictly necessary, do really help the transcribing process. So you could have a long-term plan if you don't read to teach yourself to read music. I've written a book called Reading Music for Bass Players. If you want some details of that, then click the link below this video. And I've also made a video course on the same topic. So there's a link to that as well below. Now the video course or the book, you can take that if you've had no experience in reading at all. And it starts from the beginning of learning to read and takes you through right to advanced level. And it's in really easy to understand language, and I explain music theory and music jargon throughout the book. And there's also 140 exercises in the book and MP3s to help you to practice and work on your reading. You can also find details of all my other courses and books on my website gbshed.com, and again I've put a link below this video. Well, I hope this lesson has given you the confidence to go away to start transcribing your own bass lines, and I hope you realise now it's just a case of practicing transcribing and developing your ear. If you did like this lesson, can you like and share the video, and remember to leave a comment below to let me know how you got on or if you've got any questions. Also, remember to subscribe to Greg's Bass Shed here on YouTube by pressing the red subscribe button and click the notification bell. This is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. I'll hopefully see you very soon in the next video lesson.